Welcome to
Hello.
Build and Grow with Real Estate Show. My name is Josh Weidman. I'm an investor and a hard money lender. I have here with me today our first guest of a new series that we're going to be doing called Perspectives in a Changing Market, or Changing Housing Market. As everybody probably knows, we've had some of the most robust growth in the real estate market over the last 18 to 24 months that we've probably ever had in the real estate market, since the history of this country. And right now, it seems like things are changing. Low interest rates are going up. There's still a squeeze on inventory. There's a ton of things going on, and things are shifting. But real estate's always local, so we want to talk to some of the local experts. Today's guest is Aaron Piscioneri. Did I screw that up, Aaron?
You're good.
Oh, beautiful. All right. Aaron is one of the top agents in all of Pennsylvania. He is located in Camp Hill, PA, and focuses on the West Shore. Aaron, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. Aaron, if you don't mind, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what your expertise is, I guess, in real estate in general, and also how the heck did you become an agent? How long have you been doing this? And let's start there.
Okay. Well, so I work with Century 21 Realty Services in Camp Hill and service what I would call the greater Harrisburg area, Cumberland, Dauphin, Perry, York County. I have been doing this since 2004, which is right after I got out of college. This was my first real job, I guess.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And I've been doing it ever since then. I've seen a couple different market cycles in my time as an agent. And, as an agent, you really have to be kind of changing the way you do things every 18 months to 2 years to stay fresh and relevant. Not dramatically, just, shifting with the times. The older that you get, I was going to say, the older that you get, the more the likelihood goes up that if you don't look like you know what you're talking about, people start thinking you're some kind of dinosaur or something. So.
Well, it's funny. We were talking yesterday a little bit, and you gave me a great quote. Of the last 3 recessions, economists have nailed 33 of them. Is that something like that? I love that. It is funny. I like the quote that even broke clocks, right twice a day, but the 33 to 3 is even better. So let's back up a second. What attracted you to real estate initially? In 2004, when you got out of college, what was the attraction?
Well, I grew up around it. My family had a real estate brokerage growing up, so I saw a lot of the positive things that you can get out of life through investing and selling real estate. And I've been involved in managing rental properties since I was about 12 years old.
Oh, wow. So you got a long history of knowing how terrible that is.
I used to show up in, places close to our house and, show tenants the house and, sometimes do some yard work and clean outs and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So I used to have a property management company, and, it was the lowest paying 5 years of my life. Anyway, it's neither here nor there, but, all right. So you got in, you've got a background, your family has a background, you've seen real estate. Getting in 2004, my goodness, that was right about the time things started getting hot before the last crash. What did you see? What similarities have you seen between today's market and that lead up to the 2007, 2008 crisis that we went through?
So when I was in, we'll say 2004 to 2007, I was really just getting my feet wet. I sold a fair amount of houses during that time. in commercial properties, but I was really just learning the business at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I got to participate in the strong market the way that other agents who had been more established than me got to participate in that market. But I do remember a lot of things. I remember competitive offers then. I remember, one of the, just being a busy market. I think the way that people, as far as differences between now and then, the way that people's relationship with the internet is different today than it was in 2004. So
in what
I
way?
think,
In what way?
well,
you're thinking. I mean, obviously, cell phones and smartphones and all that, but
yeah. But I think with companies, any real estate company, companies like Zillow and Trulia, and Realtor.com, we do such a good job today of getting properties out there that the internet is really the only source 99% of brokers use to advertise their properties.
Sure.
Nobody's using the newspaper. I don't even know how useful yard signs are anymore.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have a sign out front, I guess. But people's search pretty much begins and ends on the internet, and that wasn't the case in 2004. You had people that were using the internet, but it wasn't as fast as it is today. Well, and I don't think that you had the market absorption, I guess, of like people knowing that a house is even for sale then that you do now.
Yeah. The transaction timeframes are definitely faster. And I mean, I can remember so I got started at the end of 2006, and I've told this story on the show a couple of times, so I'm not going to delve into it. But essentially, I can remember an agent friend of mine who also flipped houses saying to me, "You're going to price your house and don't touch it for 30 days. Just don't worry about it. You get people looking. If you're going to lower the price, wait 30 days, because then you'll get some feedback and things like that." Now, my goodness, you can get feedback in a weekend, and not just because you're not getting showings or, and because it's a hot market, but you can see how many eyeballs are hitting your your property online. And that's going to give you a lot of information on what really think of your of your price point and on these changes. Do you think they're good changes or not so much?
I think they're good changes. I was just talking to another agent about this yesterday, but the amount of work is a lot less in a transaction than it was when I started. Commissions are also lower, but
higher housing prices will do that, right?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, but there was just a lot more meeting people. For me personally, electronic signatures and signing was a game changer. Just hugely increased my capacity. You used to have to meet people, at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday night to get them to sign an FHA, a mandatory clause or something. Nothing.
Hour out of your life for a signature, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for the buyers and sellers.
I think we lost some audio. Can you hear me?
For a second.
There we go. That's better.
Okay.
I lost you for a second. Yeah. So you said even for the buyers and sellers. I mean, I'll tell you what I appreciate is the seller's disclosure form. That is a bear of a document. If you're whether you're selling or buying, it's so much easier to go through that electronically than sitting there and filling out every line and you're like, oh, I missed this, or oh, what's I like that change for sure. Well,
one of the biggest market differences though between today and in 2006 is I was doing rentals in 2000. I've always been doing rentals. And that is the worst rental market that I worked in
because so many people could qualify for a mortgage, right?
Yeah. So everybody, you were stuck with people that were had transitory jobs and
Yep.
people with poor credit. And it was a lot harder to find a tenant than it is today,
Yeah.
for a lot of the same reasons. But with people looking for like parallels in terms of when is there a bubble, is it going to burst?
Yep.
That's one factor. I'm not a statistical, I don't know a lot of that stuff. What has to do with what, but I know that you do not.
I still have you. We just lost your audio.
Sell
Hey,
market.
Aaron.
Yes,
I need you to say that one more time.
I said you don't see the disparity between the rental market and the sale market today. They're both strong. They're both going up. Um, I haven't even advertised the last 5 or 6 rentals that I've put up.
Well, and
Just had
so
people call me.
this is what I think is fascinating is that I was talking to another agent last week, and he specializes in REOs. We touched on this yesterday a little bit, and his comment was, "Listen, last year was one of my worst years because there were hardly any foreclosures." He said, "Usually I'll get 15 or 20 listings on a monthly basis from these banks." He goes, "I've had 6 this year." That's a huge difference. That's a big disparity. And I think that speaks to the strength of the housing market. Just in general, especially when you have tenants that are, the 700 credit scores, they just don't have a down payment on a house. They could get a mortgage, but the market's so competitive. And so they're driven into the rental market. And like, you would think that with housing prices going up, you would also see rental rates going up, and that's what we see. So it seems like a healthy, I don't know, a healthy indicator, I guess, on where we are with the housing market. That's the good side, right? But then these interest rates they're something else, and it's like every time I open my Google feed, Monday it says, we got this huge bubble and everything is crashing. I got 5 or 6 articles with the same, theme. And then Tuesday, it's like, oh man, we're going to have increasing housing prices for the next 15 years or the next 5 years or something like that. So, it's always interesting to see the local market. So let's talk about Camp Hill. Tell me what's unique about Camp Hill that are, that's one of the driving factors besides. Well, first, let's talk about what the housing market looks like. I mean, both rental and retail.
So,
Yeah. Go ahead.
So when you're saying Camp Hill, do you mean like the West Shore area, or do you mean Camp Hill specifically?
Okay, so let's look at the differences, or are they the same? What are the differences?
They're not the same. So you have Camp Hill Borough, which is a small town and small school district, and a school district that has a relatively good reputation. So there are a lot of people that want to get in there, and it's very competitive. It always has been competitive, even when the market was bad.
Yep.
It was competitive in Camp Hill. More so, or to closer degree than some of the
other West Shore areas. You're saying.
some of the.
There we go. We lost
Okay.
you for a second. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I keep on getting phone calls on my.
Sorry. You're a popular guy. Like, what can we do? Right? It's good stuff.
So, but I don't know. I don't know that really the West Shore or Camp Hill or the Harrisburg area is that special in the greater housing market right now. I mean, we might be outperforming some areas by a little bit, but from what I can tell, this is going on everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think you're
right. Certainly regionally. I mean, things are nuts in Lancaster. Things are nuts in New York. Things are nuts in Baltimore, Philadelphia, Washington.
I think that we've seen, though, in Central PA a kind of a shift in not demographics, but you have a lot of people moving out of larger cities. And
Yes.
I didn't believe this. And I thought this was a farce, and I thought it was going to be a short-term thing where people coming from New York, and they realize, hey, all right, New York's open again, everybody moves back. I don't think that's happening. I think that there's a lot of people that move here realize that they don't have to commute for 2 hours to get to work, to and from work.
Mhm.
And it's, even though we might not have all of the amenities of Philadelphia, New York, and Pittsburgh, we got a lot of really great things happening in Central PA that are
Absolutely.
really attractive, and not the least of which is housing prices are $200,000 less here than they are, in some major metro areas.
Well, I think, you can only look at, like I have a friend who lives in North
We'll try to cut these out. Go ahead. You have a friend that lives in North Jersey?
Jersey, and I make Facebook posts from time to time about listings. He's like, please stop listing these palaces for $300,000.
Yeah,
It's like, I can't find a townhouse for over $500,000 where I
I
live.
know. I know.
So I think there are a lot of people that during the pandemic were like, hey, real estate market's still crazy. I can sell my smallish house for 800,000 and fill in the blank.
Right.
Move to central Pennsylvania, buy an enormous house for that same price,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
have a great quality of life.
Exactly. With great schools, with safe communities, with a lot of the pluses that come with a little smaller town living. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
What do you see moving forward? I mean, this is always the question. It's like the crystal ball, and I'm gonna back up here. Let's, instead of just having that as an open-ended statement, what do you see in the next through 2022, and then what do you think we're gonna see over the next 5 years? Because I think no, I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
If I have my crystal ball on, it's all going to end tomorrow, so you should list your house with me today.
That's
no,
right, right?
I'm kidding.
Buy now. Interest rates will be 19% tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hurry up, get your mortgage.
No, I think that I think interest rates are going to go up. Maybe not to crazy rates, but maybe we're in the sixes or something.
Yeah.
Which historically, I mean, that's high for the last 10 years, but historically
low as can be.
That's not very high.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see a slow shift in the market. I don't think this is going to be anything that happens overnight unless there's some kind of phenomenon that really affects the real estate market.
The black swan, you can never tell until it's done.
Right. Well, and I think, people of a certain age who went through the recession 15 years ago or 12 years ago, whatever it was, I think that we're all like, that's our perspective of the world.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are waiting for that same kind of event to happen. And not all recessions look alike, and not all housing changes look alike.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to shift into, it still will probably be a seller's market, the strong seller's market, but I think this phenomenon where you're getting 10, 15, 20 offers on a house,
yeah,
I think that's going to start to even out, where maybe there's going to be like actual inventory on the market for some period of time.
You mean you don't have to buy a house at above asking price when there's a hole in the roof and there's no
yeah,
hasn't been touched for 20 years.
Yeah, like just yesterday, a person reached out to me to look at some houses in the area, and when he called me, I was thinking, oh, we're not going to find it.
Right. You say you're not going to find anything.
We're talking, but in my head, I'm like, you're not going to find anything.
Right.
And there were 5 houses that were on the market. Now we're coming off of Easter weekend, so maybe that was a little slower weekend. But and around here, there's other, it's Ramadan too, which just a lot of
Yeah.
holidays going on for
Yeah.
people. Um, so I was surprised to see that there were like 5 houses that I could take him to
Yeah.
that were in his
Right.
price range in his area. It's
Well,
just doesn't
the
happen like that
housing
a lot.
tour is hilarious because now the tour is, hey, this house came on the market this afternoon. It came on the market 5 minutes ago. We have a half hour to get there. Can you meet me in 30 minutes? And that's your tour. It's been like that for a while, but one of my favorite sayings is history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's not common for us to have these huge increases in value. And I mean, the bubble is not a common reoccurrence. It happens from time to time, but we just had this happen in 2008. And like you're saying, I think a lot of people see this and they're saying, you know what? Interest rates are going to continue to go up, but people still need houses. And there's
Mhm.
not 100 houses on the market for every buyer. There's certainly not 6 months of inventory on the market, but I think you're right. I think that we may have a decrease in the increase of housing prices, but I don't think we're going to have this, the rug pulled out from underneath of us. One thing that kind of is the unknown here, I think, is that we've got a huge amount of people that that have kind of chosen not to work. It's such a weird situation where we have all of these job openings and all of this unemployment simultaneously. And it's interesting to see, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with housing. However, the economy certainly does. So I'm wondering how that is going to impact, over the next few months. Will we have people that are returning back to work? Is this a short-term vacation, or are we going to be looking at labor shortages for a long time? And if so, what's that mean? And, how does the economic impact play into housing and all that kind of stuff? It's a weird time to be alive.
Yeah. Around here, I don't really see a whole lot of that. I mean, I'm sure there's people that aren't working.
Yeah,
Um, I think that you have a lot of things happening culturally at the same time
sure.
that are all kind of coinciding. I mean, you have more people doing like gig work, I
Yeah.
guess.
Hmm.
And they're not wanting to have like traditional jobs.
Yeah.
So you have that group of people. I think there's I'm not sure why people don't talk about this in the news, but there's all kinds of people like from 10 years ago that lost a lot of money in their retirement
Hmm.
that had to continue working that
Yeah.
were maybe in their late 50s, early 60s then.
Yep.
And today that means they're in their late 60s, early 70s
Hmm.
or older that have been working past when they wanted to.
Yeah.
And I think something like a pandemic can scare a lot of people like that out of the
Uh,
workforce. And I think that is I feel like that's a bigger section. I don't have anything to back that up, but
I
I
feel
kind
the
of think
same
that
way.
that's a bigger chunk of the population than what people talk about.
Well, and you certainly see this in construction. I mean, I don't know about you, but like I've spent a lot of time on job sites over the last decade, and walking around there, and you see the guys that are super competent in their 50s and now 60s, and it's like, who's going to replace these guys when
Yeah.
we've been we've been down talking the trades for the last 20 years or 30 years since
Hmm.
since the 90s, and there's not a lot of people that are ready to step into that role. So it's just interesting. I mean, and I think that probably plays into housing too. Some of our housing
Yeah.
shortage. It's like, who's going to build
Well,
these houses?
it's funny. I probably have been talking about this for at least once a week for the last few months, but I have I had a high school shop teacher,
Hmm.
and I took shop like many people do.
Yeah.
And he sat us down one day and he said, "Listen, guys, college is great. You should go to college if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But then he started going into all these statistics about the average age of tradespeople, and he
Yep.
said, if you guys get into um, the trades and you're half decent at it,
Yeah.
you will be able to make an above average income in a short period of time, much
Yep.
shorter than your peers that are going to college.
Yeah. So
Um,
I coach baseball. Last year I coached youth baseball with a guy that he teaches carpentry at a Votech school, right? His top framer graduated and made $75 an hour at 18 years old for framing.
wow.
Right. I've been talking to my son who's 13 since he was 5 about a friend of mine who was an electrician, and he started wiring houses for me for $3,500 for an entire house, labor and material. Now he has 19 employees, and last year he did like $12 million in just commercial work for these grow houses in New Jersey. Like there's such a demand for smart young people that, they're operators that want to get the job done. It's, I mean, I don't know how we got here from housing, but, but really, I
It's all
think
related though.
it really is. It really is. I think that we got a lot of people that, now what's the average cost of a college degree? 160 grand, 40 grand a year or something like, I mean, it's something insane. And if you're looking at coming out making $50,000 or $60,000 a year, like that takes a long time to repay. So it's, the trade-offs are interesting. And with the demand for inventory, it's a good opportunity, I think, for people that are, coming out of high school or thinking about what they want to do with their lives. At least give it a look. That's our public service announcement for today, right?
Don't go to vocational school.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what's awesome about those vocational schools? It's like, if you want to go to college, that's great. I went to college at 18, and by 20, I probably shouldn't have been in school. I did. I graduated. I got my degree, all that kind of stuff. But if I'd have started at 20 or 22, it would have been a totally different story. Especially if I had, the ability to go out and make a real income and, work during the day and take night classes if I wanted to, or something like that. Like it just gives you an added, an added opportunity. You can support yourself. You can make a living, and you never are in a situation where you can't find a job. But anyway, it's kind of like, I don't know if you were listing houses or you were an agent when you were in college, but I know a few people that did that, and they hustled, and they certainly didn't get the number of listings that the grown-ups did, but the hustle, a few closings a year for somebody that's in college, like that's a good amount of money.
It's real money. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Aaron, we're coming to the end here. Before we go, I want to just give you an opportunity. Like if somebody wants to get in touch with you, they want to list their house, they want to sell it, or they're looking for a rental on the West Shore, how do they get in touch with you? And let's start there. How do they get in touch with you?
Best way is to either call or email me. My phone number is 717-579-5217. And my email address is aaron.piscioneri@gmail.com.
And if you're watching this, it just popped up on the right below it, Aaron here on the video. So anyway, all right. So Aaron, what is your expertise in real estate? What's the thing that you like doing the most?
Investment properties are fun. But really just helping people buy and sell houses.
Yeah, that's great.
I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing that.
Yeah.
It's most of my business.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't have I don't have like steady relationships like with builders or REO type of things. So all of my business is generated through what people that I find or people that find me.
That's awesome. That's great. So if you're looking at buying or selling on the West Shore, give Aaron a call. If you need a hard money loan, give me a ring. We can underwrite your loan on the day you call us. And if the title work's done, we can close as soon as tomorrow. That's it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Aaron, really, really a pleasure to have you on. I look forward to hearing some good things, and I've got to have you back on the show another time, and we'll maybe we'll do an update in 6 months and see how your crystal ball worked out.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Oh, that's awesome.
All right.
All right. Beautiful. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll be back here again soon with more of our perspectives in a changing housing market. Until then, go out and make some money. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.